Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This time I'm going to be explaining how to use the soul match as well as other functions in the blacksmith. In the beginning it almost seems worthless to do it, but the soul match can actually give you a major advantage, especially in the early, mid, late game, any of that. You get a good advantage by using this, especially if you have a weapon that you want to use that has elemental damage or anything like that, specific skills, gold, rare, purple, whatever. So I'll show you right now how exactly this works. So we're gonna use my current spear, level 75. The way this works is when you're upping a weapon's damage in this, most of the time you have to find a weapon that has a higher level or at least a higher damage than the one that you're currently using to get any sort of bonus on it. So if you scroll through, you'll notice that I have another spear that basically is the same level as it, but it still gives that slight bonus to the weapon. This is the spear that I used to use. I have upped this before, so it obviously will give me a good amount. Notice it doesn't inherit any of the, really any of the skills that you get from the other one, so I'll be losing everything on this spear just to give an added bonus to the other spear. Now, when you're doing stuff like this, a lot of times it helps a lot better, a lot more if you're using a lower level weapon. Let's say like a level 17. If I was to use this, and I was gonna use a level 75, notice how much of a difference it makes. But the higher the level difference between both of the weapons, the more souls that it will cost you, or gold it will cost you to up this weapon. The last one only cost about 10,000. There was no level difference, but it still gave me about a 30 damage bonus. Now, if you're using the level 17 that I just used up to a 75 right away, soul matching cost, as you can see, is 800,000 just to up that one thing. So it kind of gives you a retrospect on, you don't really want to level things past a certain amount of levels, like let's say 10. 10 is probably the most reasonable level estimate that you don't want to put on a weapon. Past that, it's almost useless because every weapon you're going to get up to that is probably going to give you a better bonus anyway. You don't really want to sacrifice things that are bigger than that, unless, and this is the only reason, unless those weapons are the ones you're not using. Dual swords, axes, kusurigami, or gamma. Those are the weapons I don't use. So if I was to use those, it wouldn't matter as much if I was losing the special effects on these weapons. Now, if I was doing spears, obviously, if I was using, you know, a higher level one like this, the one on the left obviously has a lot more bonuses than the one on the right, so I'd be losing all of those extra bonuses. I would lose the heroic raging bowl, the earth damage, everything, just to add that extra damage onto this squire's spear that is almost worthless. I mean, honestly, you could do a lot better. You could go to the tea house, when you unlock it, to get yourself weapons, you could find purple weapons there. Sometimes they're better, sometimes they're worse, but it's honestly a better bet than doing anything like that. The same goes with armor. If you're gonna use a piece, you can use any piece you want, basically, and it can up it accordingly, such as 75, 75. Sometimes it works on 75, sometimes it doesn't, but it gives you one more defense. Obviously, that's not worth it. You don't want to do that. It's just a waste of gold. It's not going to give you much. Now let's go over the reforge on the blacksmith. I don't know if many of you are confused about this, but this is going to be a short demo on what to do. Basically, this is the weapon I'm using now. I get enemies defeated damage bonus, mid attack break. Not bad. I mean, you get a slight damage bonus if you defeat enemies, anything like that. Now, if I wanted to do something like this, you select the skill. Obviously, on the right, it doesn't show you what the skill is, but when you select Reforge, use a Spirit Iron Fragment, which you get a lot of, and, as you can see, it makes it so that the skill changes. That's what you want to go for in these sort of things, which is why if you aim for a weapon that has more skills, that's more skills that you can do things with. This one only has 2, but if I was going to go towards, let's say, sword I have equipped currently. These 3 that I can't use right now are because they are close. They're basically the bonus specific to this weapon. You usually only get about 2 or 3 special effects but you'll notice that they're significantly higher considering the rarity of this weapon. Now, as I don't really use parry, let's say, so we'll go to Reforge. I just got gypped, basically. So you can do this almost as many times as you want. It just, the cost goes up every time you do it. That's the only thing you have to worry about. Low attack break. That's a lot better. Now, it usually doesn't go up too fast, so you don't have to worry too much. You can usually throw on a good amount of damage bonuses or whatever you want on the Reforged weapons. Same goes for armor. Find armor. See, this one has 3 instead of 2, but as you can see, there's one that's specific to it. That's the rarity. It's locked. You can't do anything about it. It's not going to matter. But go to toughness. Obviously, I like toughness, but I'm not using this weapon, or this armor, so I'm going to just do it for example's sake. Alright, I just got a bonus on that. That's actually a good one to have if I was using this headpiece. Like, I would kind of wish I used that on my regular one. Now, for legendaries, you're going to get a lot more. You can sense enemies, damage guard, everything like this. These are the ones that are better when you're reforging, because when you... Well, I really don't want to sacrifice... Let me find a different one. Hold on. Okay, so we're going to use the tune-in. Life. We'll reforge this. Now, when we reforge the purples or the golds, usually we'll get a white, or maybe you can get a purple. It's kind of like a guessing game on this. So you do have a chance of getting a legendary bonus when you do stuff like this. But you have to remember, it's not always in your best interest to sacrifice one that's already legendary. Just because it's already there. If you want to sacrifice any, you'd want to sacrifice the ones that are white. Obviously that is basically how you're going to work this and everything like that. Now, the disassemble. This one can be helpful if you're looking for quick materials. Obviously, we go down to like a 63. You see on the right materials that can be acquired through disassembly, and you'll see at the top, liqueur. The first 0 that's white is the regular one. Gold is a little better. Blue is a little better, and ultimately purple is the best. As on that, you can see that I would obtain 3 of the second tier of best right before purple, just by getting this, and you would get a spirit iron chunk for more of your reforging. That is something that's helpful. It's a good little thing to do while you're playing this game. You can up weapons that you like, such as currently I have been upping my Rakiri just because of the lightning damage bonus, the change to attack spirit, agility damage bonus. All of that is really good for when I'm doing my low stance with it. It actually helps out a lot. I have used mid stance with it. It hits a lot harder, but for the most part, when I'm fighting bigger monsters, I like to hit fast and I like to be able to avoid. So I'll use the low attack with that, and otherwise I would use my spear, which is a little bit weaker considering I have been leveling my sword a little bit more lately, just to get the quickness out of it. Forging. Forging is good if you're doing subquests. You'll notice you'll get different tiers of the blacksmith things that you can get off of those missions to give you more of a inventory on everything like this, and it levels up with you when you're forging. So you can see 64 to 73. My level is about 68, roughish. I'm not entirely sure, but when you use stuff like this, you can get good level things, especially when you see the required materials require a legendary piece. This also matters because when you're doing stuff like this, you can select certain tiers of certain tiers of items when you're making these equipment. So I'm going to use all legendaries and show you just exactly what will happen when you do this. I didn't get a good roll. This is a really good... Unfortunately, that can happen to you. The white ones usually don't give you too much when you're going through. These are more of the basic ones that you can get if you're lacking in that weapon and you just haven't found one. Usually you will. Sometimes you can get lucky, get a legendary if your luck is good with that. As you'll notice at the top, Rarity level of forged item. You have 34%, 22%, 11%, 33%. That's the percentage that you can get a different tier of weapon with it. You have the forging cost, which can be taken back if you talk to her. All you have to do is have the request, and this is more of when you're doing a lot of soul forging or a lot of other things that you spend money for. You'll eventually get patronage levels that will give you discounts if you need it. Not totally necessary. You'll make a good amount of money. It's more of if you're ever trying to bring those level 10 weapons up to level 50, 70, 40, whatever like that. That'll give you a discount. Kind of helps out. Not really worth it, but there you go. Buy and sell weapons are your standards. Obviously, you'll get different ones. They level up with you as well, so you don't have to worry about ever running out. You need blacksmith scrolls to get more stock, and especially with the dialogue and the purchase, or with her own dialogue thing to request more acquisitions, give you more stuff. You can get antidotes, you can get a lot of arrows. These are really good to do if you're helping other people. You can buy these, they're pretty cheap. Stock up before you go on a quest, whatever. You got the Book of Reincarnation in case you make a mistake. You got the Kayakudama, which you might have to actually use some points to get more inventory to get it. This is more for the things that are weak to fire that don't really take attacks very well, such as the blobs in the water level. You get special finds every now and again. These change, so if you check back a couple times, like every couple hours or whenever you go on missions, they'll change a little bit. You get different things. Sometimes they're better, sometimes they're worse, everything like that. And the one thing that you might be questioning, why don't I have that unlocked yet? The hair. Obviously, it's for appearance sakes. It doesn't really matter too much what you're doing. All you gotta do is level up Tomei. You'll notice that you'll have a request for Tomei. You'll get patronage levels. There will be an option on here that says unlock your hair thing, your barbershop or whatever have you, the hair option. You'll be able to go into it, change the hairstyle. You get a few of them, not very many. Not sure if there's any more to unlock, but that's it. One thing that I forgot to go over on the soul matching was when you're soul matching a certain weapon, you'll notice that when you go over something that has familiarity that is maxed out, that certain certain skills will be inherited into this next weapon, so that you'll notice on the right where you see the two dots next to each other, low attack break. That's the weapon that will be inherited into the spear. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is hopefully this is helpful to you in getting through this game. Maybe it'll give you a better perspective on what you want to do in this game and how you want to get you through it easier, getting stronger weapons and everything like that.